Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very great pleasure to see a full house for this event this morning. My name's David Manning. I'm Professor of Soil Science at the University of Newcastle. I've been a Fellow of the Geological Society for 35 years now and have served the Society in a number of capacities in the past. Before we start with the meeting properly, those of you who came in slightly early will have seen the housekeeping rules on the screen. The important things to note are that we are not expecting any kind of alarm today. So if an alarm sounds, then we would ask you to leave the building either through the 3 exit doors at the back and then either to the right or to the left to get out of the building. And those of you who are near the front can emerge through these curtains here into the courtyard of Burlington House, which is where the muster point is. Other important points to note are that you will have seen as you've come into the room that the toilets are just between ourselves and the main exit to the building, and refreshments will be served in the library just outside through the 3 doors at the back of the room. Please don't bring any food or drink into the room itself. Now, this is maybe for many of you the first time that you've had the opportunity to come to the Geological Society, so I want to just say a few words about the Society itself and to explain why it is that we feel able to host the meeting today. The Geological Society is the UK's national body for geosciences. It dates back to 1807, and since then it has acted as a learned society debating all aspects of the earth sciences. It's been publishing those outputs, so not only has it been providing an opportunity for dialogue and discussion, it has provided an opportunity for dissemination and making sure that what we learn through our study of the Earth goes out to those who are interested. Importantly, in the last 20 to 25 years, the Society has taken on the role of being a professional body as well. So we offer chartership, we charter professional geologists, and the purpose of that is to ensure that the public who call upon a chartered geologist can call upon them with the same degree of trust that you would call upon a fellow professional like a chartered accountant or indeed a doctor or medic. We have about 10,000 members who we call fellows. Of those 10,000, about 2,000 are chartered. A similar number, about 2,000, would come from academia. So about 8,000 people come from outside. And about 2,000 of the fellowship come from outside the UK. So it's a global society that cuts across the boundaries between industry and academia and cuts across national boundaries and is able in so doing to speak with one voice for the profession and for science of geology. The society is also a registered charity, and as a registered charity it is obliged to deliver benefit to the public, and it does so with enthusiasm. This is one of the parts of the job of the Society that we all enjoy doing and which we take very, very seriously. But importantly, when doing this, we want to make sure that we do so to a high level of professional standards as well, combining our professional interests with our learned society. And if you wish to find out more about our strategy in this respect, then it's all on the Society's website, which I commend to you for later use rather than going through it now today. An important aspect of how we deliver public benefit is through our communication to people who are not geologists, who are not experts in geology. We are realizing increasingly that we have a role to play in providing information about the facts that underpin geological matters to students of all ages, trying to encourage young people to enter the science, to policy makers and decision makers and members of the public who are interested in geology and how it bears upon everyday life. We want to make sure that the debates and opinions that are formed by those whose job it is to form opinions are well informed by factual matters. And so we recognise that amongst our fellowship we have a very, very diverse range of opinions on many, many matters relating to those which we discussed today and in other areas as well. But we stand back from those opinions and we say that we're looking at the facts. We want to make sure that opinion makers and those who are generating opinions for themselves or for others are basing those opinions on factual information so that everyone is equally well informed. That's terribly important. In the past, we have issued a statement on climate change. We issued this in 2010. Again, it's available from the Society's website, and in it, it sets out the evidence from the geological record, looking back over geological time, at what happens when atmospheric CO2 levels rise at a rate at which they're rising at the present time. It does not make pleasant reading, and it serves as a warning for all of us, a wake-up call for all of us. But it's an important document because, again, it's based entirely on factual information, and people can use it as they will in forming their opinions down the line. This is not the first meeting of this type that we've run. We had a similar meeting open to the public, and a wide range of people came along to it on the matter of the geological disposal of radioactive waste. This again is something where the fellowship has interests that arise from the science of radioactive waste management, and in particular looking at the geological aspects of geological waste disposal. Another very contentious issue with a wide range of opinions, but at the bottom of it there has to be a sound understanding of logical facts that are relevant. That's what runs through our activities when running meetings of this type and when trying to communicate matters that are important to society. One of the things which is very important about what we do, what we try to do, and where we think we succeed, is when we're providing evidence, maybe to a parliamentary committee or to a meeting like this one, two principles as our guiding principles. We stick to those areas where we believe we are competent and where we have expertise. Nothing to say that is based on geosciences, on earth sciences or geology. We keep quiet and we pass the message on to the question on to someone else who is competent to deal with it. Secondly, our comments are based on evidence, and where there may be uncertainties or lack of clarity in that evidence, we then say, so we don't want to hide anything from anyone. We want to make sure and the limits to our knowledge, but that today's session is being broadcast live by a webcast, and is being recorded so that it can be accessed by many people who are unable to attend today. The webcast and other recordings will be made available in a few days through the Society's website, and that means when we come to questions, and we want to make sure that there is ample time for questions from the audience, please can I ask those of you who want to ask a question to wait for a microphone to get to you, otherwise you might not be heard outside this room, and to say who you are and where you come from when you're representing an institution. There'll be a short general discussion session at the end of the day, and we've allowed an hour for lunch, which will allow for informal networking and questioning. But we're conscious that there may be people who don't have the opportunity to ask a question during the scheduled time, in which case there are feedback questionnaires that we're using, which those will be available at the front desk if they're not available now, and where they should be returned. But equally importantly, there's an email address, policy@geolsoc.org.uk, which again you can find through the website if you forget that, where you can send questions. As long as they come through by the end of the week, we will endeavour to answer them. For those of you who wish to engage with Twitter in this, the Twitter hashtag is ShaleGas12. So you can communicate through Twitter. After the meeting, we will publish a short briefing note on shale gas, and that will be available online, but in addition, that will be sent to everyone who's registered for this meeting by email. So now turning to the running order for today, the programme is that we go through the geological evidence, and then we look at the regulatory framework and context to that geological evidence and on. So we'll have Mike Stevenson, who'll be talking about shale gas in the UK in terms of UK geology. What is the UK's resource of shale gas and where is it? Richard Davis from Durham University will talk about the technical aspects of extraction. Those two talks will take us up to lunch at 12:30. We'll reconvene at 1:30 to look at the questions of the extraction of shale gas, which are important to us in terms of induced seismicity, which Peter Stiles from Keele University. Then looking at groundwater issues, groundwater, the integrity of wells that might be used to extract the gas, and the use of water, which Rob Ward from British Geological Survey will address. Finally, Tony Grayling from the Environment Agency will describe the regulatory framework for shale gas exploration and production. in this country. There'll be time at 3:30 for general discussion and closing remarks, and then a closing session of tea and coffee for those who... So as I say, today's talks are going to focus on the facts. They'll be presented by experts in geology and from the regulatory sector. And as with all talks given by experts, it may be that they say things that are new to you, you've come across them, want to clarify matters of the technical. So please feel free during the question sessions to ask any questions that arise where you might not have understood something technical that came up in any of the talks. Please remember that someone else in the room will be heartily relieved that you've asked that question. I think that's all that I want to say. I'm going to hand over now to Mike Stevenson, who's going to talk to us about what is shale gas. And